It's now time for Energy Insights, where you get an inside view and local perspectives of all the oil and gas progress going on in the Mid-Ohio Valley. This program is being brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association and can be heard every Saturday at 9 a.m. on local radio WMOA AM 1490 and ESPN radio WJAW FM 100.9 and AM 630. It's now time for the show. Here's Johnny Wharf, your local host.
Another Saturday morning, another Energy Insights brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association. And our insider today is Don Huck from Artex Oil Company. I want to talk a little bit about some specifics as to the well placement and the aquifers and protection of the water and that kind of thing that I think a lot of folks might be interested in learning about. But first, a little background on Don Huck for the listeners.
Well, I'm Don Huck. I'm from outside of Marietta, a little town called Watertown. Went to Marietta College, got a degree in petroleum engineering, and have worked in the oil and gas industry for about 30 years now. So,
yeah, and would you when you get into it, would you have expected that you would be here and in the world that we live in now?
Always kind of hoped to. I have two brothers that work in the industry, and they're older than I am, so I kind of got introduced to it at a young age. So this was the only thing I ever expected to do for a career, and I always thought I'd work back around home, and it's kind of worked out that way. It's great. Yeah,
when we listen, folks sometimes raise concerns about freshwater protection, and maybe you can fill us in a little bit on what the oil companies are doing to protect that.
Well, from a regulatory standpoint, we're obligated to set a surface casing string, which is designed to protect the fresh water. I think the first part that most companies will do is go out and wherever they place the well, decide what water aquifers are in the area, where do people get their water from, whether water wells and things like that, find out what depths, because they come from all different depths, and set up a surface casing string to make sure that is protected. If whatever the deepest depth is, they'll go below that. The state of Ohio requires that there'll be minimum depths of 300 feet plus, and so that lets us get below any freshwater aquifers, and we run casing through that. It's cemented back to the surface, so there's a total casing sheath or cement sheath around that to make sure we protect the water.
Talk a little bit, I think, the listeners as well, and we always kind of bring this up, is where is the state of the industry now as we stand right now? Do you have a feel for that?
Well, right now with oil and gas prices low as they are, it does make the economics challenging because there are so many things that we need to do to make sure that a well is properly constructed. So we have to pay attention to the cost associated with that versus where we are with oil and gas prices and the economics of our wells.
All right. This is Don Huck from Artex Oil Company. We thank you for your time. We're going to ask you to come back next week and do it again, and we'll have part 2 with Don Huck from Artex Oil Company here on Energy Insights, brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association.
Thank you for listening to Energy Insights, brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association. Tune in every Saturday at 9 a.m. on WMOA and ESPN radio WJAW as Johnny Wharf brings you your local and inside perspectives of the oil and gas progress going on in the Mid-Ohio Valley.